Hi, welcome to Literary Archaeology. And we're going to dig into the remainder of our Grimm Brothers fairy tales. We are almost finished with the 1812 and 1815 publications of the Grimm Brothers. And oh wow, have we learned. That's Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Please don't knock that over. He's he's starting to know when I'm filming, and yeah, we're just going to leave that in. Anyways, so we have been learning so much about good and evil and how much it pertains to our time. And it's quite obvious why this has been hidden. What else has been hidden? And they don't have to censor it. They just have to cover it up with other things, like Disney in particular for this. Or for a lot of things, I think coming up that we will read, we will see why they do so much indoctrination in college and what they don't read in college and what they do read in college or high school. It makes a difference. They don't have to ban it. If they were to ban it, everyone would notice, right? If it just becomes forgotten, then it's just forgotten. So without further delay, let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel. We are growing this channel. I'm so excited for it. I think it's so important for us to know where we come from and how we got here. A little sideshow in the background. Yes, by the way, yes, Lola is down here and they've been sort of trying to play. They're trying to figure it out. So personally, I like to feature them even more on this channel in Literary Archaeology. There's something just even more intimate about this channel. And I don't know, I just feel like this community that we are growing in Literary Archaeology is an intimate one because of all the things we're going through. You have to get pretty deep. That's a very bad pun that I wasn't trying to make. Okay, so today we have pretty Katerinelia. Oh gosh, Rojas. He's our resident Norwegian. Katerinelia. Yes, I understand Norwegian is not German, but he's like a linguist, and there are other linguists in the chat there. I feel like I know you guys. Okay, sorry. Pretty Katerinelia and Piff Paff Poultry. Piff Paff Poultry. Okay. Good day, Father Berry Tea. Why, thank you, Piff Paff Poultry. Could I have your daughter for my wife? Oh, yes. If Mother Milk Cow, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Dear Cheese, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. Okay. If this is your first time here, this one is different so far. It might seem like, oh, this is just a silly thing for children. Well, it does seem like that so far, but we've read enough Grimm Brothers fairy tales to know that it's not always that simple. Here, excuse me. That was bugging me. Okay, so, all right, I'm sorry. Could I have your daughter for my wife? Because I wasn't prepared for all that. I don't know if you guys were, so. Oh, yes, if Mother Milk Cow, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Dear Cheese, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. Then where can I find Mother Milk Cow? In the barn, milking the cow. Good day, Mother Milk Cow. Why, thank you, Piff Paff Poultry. Could I have your daughter for my wife? Oh, yes, if Father Berry Tea, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Dear Cheese, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. I'm just going to point out through all the silly names how wonderful it was back in the day when you asked for a lady's hand in marriage. Because if he's not a good guy, in this day and age, if he's a felon, they're going to be like, no, bye, right? So she can be like, oh, it's a bad boy. Oh, I like him. It's like, no, Katerinelia, if that's her name, whoever the daughter is, no, right? The whole family gets involved because they have your best interest at heart. And when emotions are, filling us, we're not always going to make the best decisions. That goes for men and women, but we know that it mostly affects us. If you're interested in how it used to be, and that, the way it used to be is that the family had a big say in who the woman married and who the man married, you might want to check out yesterday's video on Far From Eden, because it kind of looks at how things started to really go badly in the 20th century. There's a reason Grimm Brothers published this in 1812 and 1815. Okay, I'll stop interrupting now. Could I have your daughter for my wife? Oh, yes. If Father Berry Tea, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Dear Cheese, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. Then where can I find Brother High and Mighty? In the shed, chopping up all the wood he can see. Good day, Brother High and Mighty. Why, thank you, Piff Paff Poultry. Could I have your sister for my wife? Oh, yes, if Father Berry Tea, Mother Milk Cow, Sister Dear Cheese, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. Then where can I find Sister Dear Cheese? Weeding in the garden, if you please. Good day, Sister Dear Cheese. Why, thank you, Piff Paff Poultry. Could I have your sister for my wife? Oh, yes, if Father Berry Tea, Mother Milk Cow, Brother High and Mighty, and Pretty Katerinelia are willing, then you can have her. Then where can I find Pretty Katerinelia? Counting out her pennies in the parlor. Good day, Pretty Katerinelia. Why, thank you, Piff Paff Poultry. Do you want to be my bride? Oh, yes, if Father Berry Tea, Mother Milk Cow, Brother High and Mighty, and Sister Dear Cheese are willing, then I'll be your bride. Pretty Katerinelia, how much dowry do you have? Oh, the way it used to be. Okay, how much dowry do you have? 14 pennies in cash, 3.5 coins that are owed to me, half a pound of dried fruits, a handful of pretzels, and a handful of roots. Let's see if that's enough. As you can surely see, that makes for fine dowry. Now, Piff Paff Poultry, what is it that you do? Are you a tailor? Much better than that. A shoemaker? Much better than that. A farmer? Much better than that. A carpenter? Much better than that. A blacksmith? It's interesting to see which things are better, considered better in that time. Much better than that. A miller? Much better than that. Perhaps you're a broom maker. Yes, that's what I am. Isn't that a wonderful way to earn a living? If this is your first time here, hang with us. I don't understand that one. The list of things. What did we have? We had a tailor, a shoemaker, a farmer, carpenter, blacksmith. Miller was the best thing, like the best career, what have you, that she could think of. Then she says broom maker. That's what I am. Isn't that a wonderful way to earn a living? What does a broom do? It sweeps. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I do know that what mattered was that all the family agreed if the others agreed. And I find that to be important. And if you're reading this to children, they would have it in their mind that, well, yeah, ask my family, not just this individual, I'm a girl boss and I'm going to go out and just choose by myself. I think if you're choosing somebody for the rest of your life, that's a huge decision. And unlike modern times, maybe that's not a decision that only one person should make. We are so attuned to just one person, just one person. And maybe Broommaker was actually humble. And he was very proud and, not materialistic. Not sure. But we definitely have time for another one. It's not normal that we have one that's like, what is that? We maybe had two this whole time. And I'll probably think of some meaning of it later. Later when you guys are telling me in the chat. All right, next one. Ready? The Fox and the Horse. A farmer had a faithful horse that had grown old and could no longer do his work. So his master didn't want to feed him anymore and said, "You're of no more use to me now, but I won't abandon you entirely. Show me that you're still strong enough to bring me a lion. Then I'll keep you. But for now, get out of my stable." He was faithful. This is a bad, bad man, this farmer man. He's old. He's going to go get you a lion? These are things I would be saying if I was teaching this to children. And you might say, if you're new here, because there's a lot of new people, why is she telling us what she would say to children? Because we've forgotten how to raise children, and you wonder what's wrong with people. It's because they didn't have that. And in order for us to realize why we feel like strangers in our own world, it's good to go back to what we, fill in the gaps of our childhoods. Get out of my stable. And he chased the horse out into the open field. The horse was sad about this and went into the forest to seek a little shelter from the weather. There he met the fox, who asked, "Why are you hanging your head and moping about all by yourself?" "Ah," answered the horse, "greed and loyalty can't live side by side in the same house." Greed and loyalty can't live side by side in the same house. Wow. My master has forgotten how much work I've done for him over the years, and since I can no longer plow properly, he won't feed me and has chased me away. Without a word of consolation? Asked the fox. The consolation was meager. He told me that if I was still strong enough to bring him a lion, he would keep me, but he knows full well that I can't do that. "Well, I'm going to help you," said the fox. "Just lie down, stretch yourself out, and don't move. Pretend you're dead." The horse did what the fox commanded, while the fox went to the lion, whose den was not far away, and said, "There's a dead horse lying out there. If you want a great meal, come along with me." The lion went with him, and when they were at the horse's side, the fox said, "It's not so comfortable for you here. You know what I'll do? I'll tie the horse to you by his tail so you can drag him and eat him in peace and quiet." The lion liked the idea, assumed a position for the fox to attach the horse to him, and kept still. However, the fox bound the lion's legs together with the horse's tail, and he tied and twisted it so tightly and firmly that the lion wouldn't have been able to tear himself loose, even if he had used all his might. When the fox finally finished his work, he tapped the horse on his shoulder and said, "Pull, horse, pull." All at once, the horse jumped up and dragged the lion with him. The lion began to roar so loudly that all the birds in the forest flew away out of fright. But the horse let him roar, and pulled and dragged him over the fields to his master's door. When his master saw that, he reconsidered everything in a better light and said to the horse, "You shall stay here with me and shall be treated well." And he gave him all he wanted to eat until the day of the horse's death. Well, I mean, you shouldn't hold a grudge, but it's difficult for me when he treated the horse like that. And now, like, thankfully you shouldn't have to prove yourself after you've been loyal like that. The horse was very wise. Loyalty and greed cannot live in the same house. So what happens when then a society becomes greedy, becomes fixated on wealth more and more and more, where each generation, oh, you'll live a better life than your parents did. And what do they mean by that? Bigger house, more cars, more luxury, more extravagant vacations. Is that better? I would say no. We're not happier. We're more lost than ever because greed and loyalty cannot live in the same house. Greed will snuff out loyalty. You just can't have that. You just can't have it. And but I think what we can have is another fairy tale. Okay, we had to skip a couple of long ones to get to 3 black princesses. Didn't mean the same thing back then, did it? So we don't know what it means in this one. It didn't really mean the same thing because this is Germany, like the 1700s, maybe even 1600s. So I can't wait to see what it means. All right, well, maybe not. Maybe I was completely wrong. I don't know why I think I know what a fairy tale is going to be. I need to stop predicting things like that. This is literary archaeology. We're digging for a reason. We're digging and we don't know what we might find. So, the 3 black princesses. East India was besieged by an enemy that would not withdraw until it first received a ransom of 600 gold coins. So it was announced in public that whoever could provide the money would become mayor. There was at that time a poor fisherman who was fishing at sea with his son. The enemy came, took the son prisoner, and gave the fisherman 600 gold coins for him. The father then went and gave the money to the lords of the city. The enemy departed, and the fisherman became mayor. Thereafter, it was proclaimed that whoever did not address him as Lord Mayor would be hanged on the gallows. Well, that was a lot that happened real fast. The son escaped from the enemy and made his way to a large forest on a high mountain. The mountain opened, and he went into a large enchanted castle, where all the chairs, tables, and benches were draped in black. Usually, we've got to go 3/4 through a story to hit the mushroom trip in the fairy tale. This kind of opens up with that. These stories can be fantastical. That is true. But the truth woven in is runs deep. It runs real deep. Okay, so the tables, chairs, benches were draped in black. Then 3 princesses appeared. They were clad entirely in black, but had a little white on their faces. They told him not to be afraid, for they wouldn't harm him, and he could rescue them. He replied that he would gladly do so, if only he knew how. They told him he was not to speak to them for 1 whole year, nor was he to look at them. If he wanted anything, he just had to ask for it, and if they were permitted to answer his questions, they would do so. Told him he was not to speak to them for 1 whole year, nor was he to look at them. But then if he wanted something, he just had to ask for it, and if they were permitted to answer his questions, they would do so. Those are tricky instructions. After he had been there for a long time, he said that he would like to go and see his father. They told him that he could go, but he was to take a purse of money with him, put on certain clothes, and return in a week. Then he was lifted into the sky, and before he knew it, he was in East India. However, his father was no longer in the fishing hut, so the son asked some people where the poor fisherman was. They told him that he must not call him that, or he would be taken to the gallows. Then he went to his father and said, "Fisherman, how did you get here?" "You mustn't call me that," the father replied. "If the lords of the city hear you say that, you'll be taken to the gallows." However, he wouldn't stop saying it and was taken to the gallows. When he got there, he said, "My lords, grant me permission to go to the fishing hut." He wasn't going to not say the truth. He's like, "You're a fisherman." I mean, dude sold him, right? People don't like people who say the truth, do they? No. You want to send the truth tellers to the gallows. Okay, so he wants to go to the hut. Once there, he put on his old fisherman garb, and then he returned to the lords and said, "Don't you see now that I'm the poor fisherman's son? This was the way I was dressed when I earned a living for my mother and father." They recognized him then and apologized and took him home with them. The son told them everything that had happened, how he got to the forest on a high mountain, how the mountain had opened, and how he had entered an enchanted life where everything was black and where 3 young princesses had come to him, all in black, except for a little white on their faces, and how the princesses had told him not to be afraid and that he could save them. His mother warned him this might not be a good thing to do and told him to take a consecrated candle with him and to let some of its hot wax drop on their faces. There's always a recognition of God in all of these tales because he's real. The son returned to the castle and was so fearful that he let the wax drop on their faces while they slept. And they all turned half white. The 3 princesses jumped up and cried, "You cursed dog! Our blood shall cry out for vengeance. There is no man born now anywhere, nor ever will be, who can save us. But we still have 3 brothers bound by 7 chains, and they will tear you to pieces." All at once, there was a shrieking throughout the castle, and he jumped out a window and broke his leg. The castle sank back into the earth, the mountain closed, and nobody knows where the castle once stood. Okay. It's the time. All right. He sold his son. I'm going to stick with because sometimes these fairy tales are not complete because of the Grimm Brothers going through and gathering it all, and these tales have been passed down for decades and decades, maybe hundreds of years. But in this one, I think the key takeaway is that you can't call him, once again, it was greed. The father was greedy, sacrificed his son for prestige, money, power, and wouldn't let anybody call him who he truly was because he was hiding that. He wanted to be somebody more important. But he wasn't. And when his son spoke the truth about him, he tried to kill him. They don't like the truth tellers, do they? All right, here we go. The shorter ones are usually like, woohoo, let's go. We're in this together, right? All right. Noist, Knoist, and his 3 sons. Between Werrell and Soist, there lived a man named Noist. Is this Dr. Seuss? I told you this community is intimate because we have gone through this stuff. We have dug through this. It's like we've lived for generations together, going through these stories. That's what it feels like to me, especially on a Sunday when we're all in the chat and we are going through this. It's like we've been through the weirdness together. How many mushroom trips have we had together? A lot. And a lot of very moving things too. It's quite spiritual. Okay, I'll get serious now. Between Werrell and Soist, there lived a man named Noist, and he had 3 sons. One was blind, the other was lame, and the third was stark naked. Once they were walking across a field and saw a hare. The blind one shot it. The lame one caught it, and the naked one stuck it into his pocket. Then they came to a tremendously large lake with 3 boats on it. One boat leaked, the other sank, and the third had no bottom to it. They went aboard the boat with no bottom. Then they came to a tremendously large forest where they saw a tremendously large tree. In the tree was a tremendously large chapel. And in the chapel was a hornbeam sexton and a boxwood pastor who dispensed holy water and cudgels. Blessed is he who gets away when the holy water comes his way. Blessed is he who gets his way when the holy water comes his way. They were able to do the impossible. This was the impossible. There was a blind man, a lame man, and a naked man. And yet, they lived in such a way that none of those things were true. Because, we're going to get deep now. You ready? I have multiple sclerosis. You can't tell from this upper body part of me. Sometimes I trip up on my words. It's because my vision is a little funky, not glasses type vision. It doesn't matter. It's more than what you can see. So know a little something about being lame or being kind of blind. I know about that. And I know about what it takes to go through life and smile. And I know that. Now, does it mean, here's the thing, does it mean that if you know Christ, that you're healed? Suddenly I can jog down the street or walk without my cane? No. But I can live in such a way as if I can. Because I see past everything. I see that there's more to life than the hair, than the boat. It's bigger. You understand meaning. You understand gratefulness when you're blind, lame, naked. And you have to think outside of all of that. You have to know that it's not always going to be that way. And you can't let it hold you back mentally. And those that understand that and can see that this is not all there is, I'm not always going to limp. I'm not always going to have a cane. Right? One day, when I'm free from this body, I will run. I won't be blind, lame, naked. Neither will you. Neither will you. And it's something to remember while you're here, because it enables you to smile. Doesn't mean that there aren't difficult days, but overall, you can feel joy You don't go around, well, I'm blind, well, I'm lame, well, I'm naked. You go around, sailing on a bottomless boat. I don't know. Maybe that's just me projecting into it. But it's important not to let those things that ail you drag you down. I just don't think we have the right to let those things drag us down. It's easier said than done. But you can take it from me because I'm someone who does it daily. I'm not saying this to make you uncomfortable, okay? But when I sit here and make these videos, I am always in pain. And I know you guys are going to be like, oh my God, Aaron, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Don't worry. The joy of the Lord is my strength. When I sit here, I'm in pain, right? Setting up, tearing down, all of this, getting it all right in my little living room, in my little apartment. Well, I thought Charlie was there. Is the struggle for me, But, and that's the key, is the but. You think about, like, I'm talking to you guys right now, right? Like, there's pain and whatever, but I'm like, I'm talking to you guys right now. I'm going to be in the chat. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Charlie, for Lola. And I don't think about, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Then you can't do anything. Sit around thinking, I'm blind, I'm blind, I'm blind. Well, I guess we'll just have a giant pity party. It takes work. We'd all be so much better off in today's society if we were grateful, if we didn't wallow. These three dudes, they didn't wallow. And look how well they did. They kept going, right? They just kept on going. And that's what we have to do. Just keep going. One foot in front of the other. Especially when you're down, when you're really down and you're like, I just don't feel it, Aaron. I don't have the strength. I can't do it like you can do it. It's fine. I couldn't always either. And there are some days. But you put one foot in front of the other and walk in faith. These guys, they walked in faith. Next thing you know, you're up a tree and you find a chapel. So you just keep going. Knowing there's purpose. You don't have to feel it. You don't have to anything it. You just have to know it. There's purpose. There's a reason. So you just keep going. And guess what? You might never know the reason. You might not know the effect you had on somebody in passing. You may not be privy to the reason. You have to trust that it's there. You just have to trust. And that gives me strength too. I didn't know I'd meet you guys. I didn't know that when I had a massive tragedy 10 years ago. I didn't know that. I thought everything was over. But it wasn't. I'm glad I didn't give up. So I don't want any of you to give up either. Not that you're just coming here depressed, but who knows? I don't know. But I know there's truth in these fairy tales. And I know, interestingly, it always seems like the fairy tales relate to something else we've done, something we've done on my other channel, Far From Eden, something like that. And so maybe that's what this fairy tale is doing for you. Maybe it's speaking to you particularly. If it is, feel free to share it in the chat. Feel free to email me, feminismontrial@gmail.com. But either way, I'm really glad you're here to share this crazy group of fairy tales with us. Kind of have a laugh, kind of be serious. All the things that make up life. So that's the beauty of literature, isn't it? So on that note, remember to protect your peace. Feed your souls. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.